Welcome to Heavy Petting with Cheri Hardman. Today's guest wrote jokes for Joan Rivers that she told on The Late Show. She appeared on Wendy Williams' Street Talk several times. She's performed all over New York and other cities as well as Canada. Please welcome Helaine Witt.
Thank you. Thank you.
Hey.
I call you Cheri. Is your name Cheri?
It's Cheri. Yep.
Yeah. I like to call you Cheri, but that's not your name.
You know, usually when people call me Cheri, it's usually like Mexican men or Latin men from other countries call me Cheri, and I find it really sexy. So, you know.
That's funny. I just think it's a cute name because you don't hear it every day.
I know. So I am dying. We're going to get to pets in a minute. But I'm a diehard Joan Rivers fan.
Aww.
So you got to tell me about that.
Okay, I'm going to go get some things to show you since you love her so much.
Okay, good.
It won't take long. I'll come right back.
No, that's all right.
Because I love her so much. You love her so much.
She's my all-time favorite. So,
right? When she died, did you cry?
I may have.
I remember when she died. Okay. You want me to show you things first?
Yeah, show me. I want to know. Yeah.
This is a letter from her assistant who's been on her show. She had that show that was like a reality show. Her name is Sabrina Lott Miller. She was on her show, so it's a real legitimate letter, and it's pink, and that's how her stationery looked when I got an envelope in the 80s that showed that she wanted my jokes. That envelope made my day. Anyway, this letter says that they found my jokes behind the cabinet when they moved offices, and they're sorry. So that's pretty funny. It's kind of like an insult, but it's hysterical. So I framed it.
That's great.
And then this letter, this was really pink, but it's yellow now. Well, I don't know. Maybe it wasn't pink, but this is the letter you got when she wanted your joke, where they said that they were buying 2 jokes, $20 for the 2. And it says, all future one-liners, submissions, blah, blah, blah. So this is, I framed it. She bought at least 2 of my jokes, maybe more. And she told it on The Tonight Show with Johnny Carson. And I have it on video. Sometimes I put it on Facebook because I was lucky enough to put it on a VHS. And then later in life, in the last few years before she died, she would sign her books. So she wrote several books. So I'd go to Barnes and Noble, and I took this with my zoom lens. I was sitting there. It wasn't like you couldn't sit close to her. You could go up and ask her a question, and then she autographed your book. And that was one of the books. And this is, I just found this. You can't see it, but she had a TV show, and I went in the audience. So this is just from a little camera before you had zoom lenses. And I'm sitting in the audience. You can't even see, but she's up there with her guests. So every time I'd go to get an autograph, this was later in life. She was always so nice to the people who talked to her. And I went to see her right before she passed away. And her people said, Helaine, we were at Barnes and Noble. We thought you'd be there. That's how much of, like you could say, stalker, but a fanatic. I'd go to see her all the time. She played twice a year in Manhattan. I was lucky to go and see her. So they knew me from that, and they'd say, Helaine, we missed you in Barnes and Noble in Manhattan. Where were you? And they said that right in front of her, which was so thrilling. But then I went to see her sign books on Long Island, which is in the suburbs of New York. So that's why I didn't go to Barnes and Noble, because I was going to see her on Long Island. So then she performed that night, and then weeks later is when she died. And I didn't go to
one of my big regrets is that I never got to see her perform. Yeah.
I got it. Yeah.
Wow.
At the end, I have to tell you, she was getting a little like gross. Like I felt guilty that I wasn't laughing. I knew most of the jokes from seeing her twice a year, plus on TV, but she always stuck some new ones in the middle. She had those, you might have heard this, she had big cue cards that she kept on the floor when you went to see her. And she'd say, is Martha Stewart here? She'd say, she should be standing in the back because she has a stick up her ass, and she'd always say that. And there was some jokes she always said. And then one of my favorites was, she said, remember Casey Anthony? You're pretty young, but you remember the Casey Anthony? So this was around that time. She said, that I just ruined the punchline, but she'd say, don't ever play peekaboo with a kid on a plane, because the kid will want to keep playing over and over. So she just said, don't play peekaboo with a kid on a plane. And then she said, where's Casey Anthony when you need her? And I just absolutely love that joke.
That is good. Well, this makes me, you're a hero in my eyes now. So.
Oh, that's so sweet. That's cool. Really sweet. I'm just, I have on YouTube, I have a story about how I got into comedy and how, and it touches on what I've just shared about Joan Rivers. And it's called Helaine Witt. Oh, you know what? It has a weird name. It's not weird. It's called Helaine Witt Jude, Jude, because the lady who had this storytelling, her name was Jude. So I couldn't find it for a long time, but it's called Helaine Witt Jude. And then if you can't find it, it's called Jude Wolf, her last name. Well, anyway, you should be able to find it under Helaine Witt Jude. And it tells the story about how I started in comedy and how I wrote the jokes and then how I met her. And she was always very nice.
That's great. I'd say. Yeah, because I read one of her books and I saw that documentary about her. Did you watch that? Yeah.
Very sad.
The one thing I remember, and I'll probably cry because of something I'm going through personally, but the one thing that I'll never forget is when she said, I don't have anybody in my life now that I can say, remember when to.
Oh.
And that just always really stayed with me. So anyway.
Wow. You mean you don't have friends who are like your age, you mean?
No. I mean, that was what she said, but I'm losing my best oldest friend right now. So, but anyway, so I think of that, like, that one person that you can say, hey, remember that one time, And I guess as you get older, you lose those people out of your life. So
yeah, anyway, that is sad. I'm sorry.
We don't want to get melancholy. So are your
my cat?
Pets? Your cat.
Okay, it's one cat. And you know how you said, you know how some people have their pet and they don't leave them alone when they're on? I'm the opposite. I'll bring her over, but she won't stay, and that'll be funny in itself. I even have some treats to bribe her with, but I'll pick her up. She's a cat and she doesn't like to come over.
I get it.
Yeah, you've been through this.
I'm gonna fix my makeup while she's gone. There's some weird smear there. There we go.
We're going on TV. Cheri cares about you. She's a rescue.
My favorite kind. Oh, what a cutie. Hi, kitty, kitty, kitty. And what's her name?
Her name is Astor, because when she was around, Brooke Astor, that Astor was this lady's last name. She was a New York debutante, like an old, like her son was 80 and he was trying to get all her money when she died. Her name was Brooke Astor. So I named her Astor, spelled that way, Astor, instead of how the flower is spelled, Aster. So her name is Astor.
Hi, Astor. How old is she?
Let's say she was born in 2000. This is how I'm answering your question. She's like, what the hell are you doing to me? That's funny. Her birthday was in 2008.
Okay.
That's how old she is. I don't even think of it like that.
Yeah. So she's about the same age as one of my cats. So she's a rescue. Do you know anything about how she
Yes.
came to be a rescue?
Yes, she also has some disabilities, so I have a story. Do you want me to tell you the story?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay. I don't want to bore you.
No,
It's
no.
not boring.
That's what we're here
I
for.
had to put my other cat to sleep, and when I went to the vets, you're crying, and it's weird to cry like that, but you're crying right there at the vets, and I mean it's weird for me to just cry at the vet, and then behind the counter at the vets, it was Christmas time, which makes the story special, and there was a kitten upside down in a cage playing like this with a toy. And there was a sign that said, "A home is a gift," something like that. And I said to myself, I never heard my voice in my head so loud. It said, "You're crying right now, and that cat needs a home." And I wasn't, on the way to the bed. I said, "Don't get a cat. You might travel. You need someone to watch it." And when I saw that sign, I said, "I'll take it. I'll take her." So I signed the papers, and they said the vet and his wife rescued her because they do rescue work. I guess the wife does that as a volunteer. So I felt special. And then the girl said to me, she said, "Do you know what's wrong with her?" After I said I'd take her, I said, "Wrong with her?" She said, "Yeah, she doesn't walk." So when I got her home, she rolled. She didn't walk as a little kitten. She didn't walk. She rolled, and she went behind the stove for a week. I don't know how she came out, probably to use the litter and ate. I don't even remember how. But anyway, so that was really good. And then, how she eats? She eats like Katharine Hepburn. She nods her head back and forth like this when she eats. Not so bad anymore, but she still does it. And the vet said she has to see where the food is. She has a little disability. And when she walks, she's klutzy. And how your cats probably leap up to go on the windowsill? Right. She needs to climb up on the couch and then on the desk and then on the table and then go to the windowsill. She can't just leap. And when she comes down, she usually flops and goes smashing somewhere. She's klutzy.
So is it like neurological or is it like physical in her muscles? Do you know?
No, it sounds like you have a medical background.
A little bit. A little bit.
A lot. Yeah. I don't know. My friends studied speech and they came over and saw her and said she had, I wonder if they called it a palsy of some kind, because they studied that stuff being speech therapists.
Right.
But when she walks, there's something about it. It might be wobbly. I don't know if her feet are different than other cats' feet, I said. But, it's funny. And, you know what else? She's like, some cats will eat in front of you. Some cats won't hide when people come over. Like I have a personal trainer. She has 4 cats. Her cats come over to me. She'd run away.
Yeah.
She runs from me. When she sees me, she runs away. Even though sometimes she doesn't, mostly she does. Yeah. Do your cats come over? Like if your cat looks at you and doesn't expect you there, does it ever just run away?
Oh, well, I have 2 cats. So there's one that's about the same age as yours. And I've had him for a long time. And he is obese. But like, we don't know why. Like his sister was that way too. Like we think there's something wrong with it. So he's just really fat. And so he just lays around. And then when you walk past him, he'll say meow, like pet me. But he'll come to you, but rarely. He just mostly stays in the same spot all day. So we got a new cat just recently, and she's still partly kitten, and she's still not 100% with us. So sometimes
that's really new.
Sometimes she'll let me pick her up, and then other times it's just like runs right past me like I'm really scary. So I don't know. It takes a while, I was hoping she'd be more cuddly, but
yeah, sounds like she has to get used to you.
Yeah. My husband was probably hoping I was going to be more cuddly too. So, we get what we get.
That's funny.
All right. So, but she's a happy cat most of the time, don't you think?
Oh yeah, she's happy. She meows like if I'm at the computer in the other room, she meows for attention. And then when I come along, she runs away. And I don't know if that's her way to say, play with me.
Yeah. Uh,
but she doesn't eat much. But I don't know. Now that I'm home for 10 months, I guess I give her more food. I don't know.
yeah. All right. So, if she were to write a review of you as an owner, what do you think she would say?
Oh, she'd say I'm very attentive. Um, I put the food away when she doesn't eat it, which is a mistake. She might say, "Why doesn't she leave the food out? I'm going to pick at it later."
Mm-hmm.
Because she comes around late. I only notice these things since I'm home. She'll come around looking for food. In the summer, I don't like to leave wet food out because
Right.
once a long time ago, I had maggots.
Mm-hmm. I know.
Once.
Yeah, I know that. Okay. So we are now going to switch over from talking about our pets to talking about heavy petting of the human variety. Now
Petting.
I know you're old enough to know what heavy petting means. A lot of times I have younger people on here and they have no idea. So I have to
That's
explain
funny.
it. So some of the
That's
viewers, you know,
that's cute.
but for the purposes of this show, we're just talking about anything that has to do with dating, romance, love, sex,
Yeah.
anything.
Okay.
So if you have an amusing story you'd like to share with us, I would love to hear it.
Yeah, I'd love to tell you a story. And it doesn't have to be funny, obviously.
It
It
can be
could be
whatever you
like
want it to be.
poignant. Okay.
Yeah.
If this is like a story of um young, what do you call that? Like puppy love. Okay.
Uh-huh.
So the background is I come from a family. My mother's very she's the opposite of me. She was very proper, like a church lady almost,
Mm-hmm.
like that type. And she's very square and she was proper in all that,
Right.
doing the New York Times crossword puzzle and very a pillar of the community type.
Mm-hmm.
I'm saying this all on purpose because I like bad boys. And I was in 7th grade. I'll say my brother was in 9th grade. And my brother was an all A student. And he was also on the cross country team. And there was a boy who was more like a man to me. And when I say 7th grade, it could have been 8th and 10th grade.
Right.
My brother was 2 grades ahead of me. And there was like a bad boy in his cross country. He played the guitar and he had like an Elvis kind of a haircut. Maybe not as, I call that a pompadour, but not
Right.
so much, but just that type. This boy was the opposite type of boy that would ever be seen in my household, probably.
Mm-hmm.
He wasn't so bad, but in my mind, he wasn't the kind you get the picture. So
Right.
I'm saying all this because one day he must have
Go ahead.
called the house and he knew my number from my brother. And I ended up going to his house when his mother wasn't home. And like I really had a crush on him because he was like everything you'd want and more. And I went there and we had heavy petting and it was beautiful and wonderful. And I was young and I just loved it. And then my brother told my parents that he called the house and he talked to me. I don't think my brother knew I went over there. And at the same time, not the same minute, his mother found something of mine, my transistor radio or a ring or something in the couch cushion.
Oh.
What's this? Yeah, like she said to him, what's this? Whose was this? Who was here? So between my brother telling my parents and everything, I never really saw him again. I don't think I don't remember him ever talking to me again or paying any attention to me again or me seeing him at school. But what I do remember is my brother had a picture in some yearbook of the team and I could stare at him. It's not like now you could take a picture of
Right.
somebody and have it in your phone. And that's all I remember, that I was so mad that my brother told my mother. And, I had no recourse. It's not like I could get even or I just remember being found out and also being so mad at him. Why did you have to spoil my fun, kind of thing?
Right.
And I think my brother was protecting me, like, we don't want her getting herself involved in something like this. So in a way, he was trying to protect me, but also it was kind of evil. It was breaking your beautiful time.
Right. Yeah. Well, they didn't think that women like that kind of stuff, you know, or that we had to be protected from that kind of stuff. And we like our romantic times like men do. I lost you there for a second.
Did you lose me?
Yeah, just a
My
little,
hearing
just a
aid.
little frozen second. Okay, so what's the best compliment you ever got on your naked body?
Oh, did Ziggy have that question too? I didn't remember that one.
I don't know. Did I ask him that?
I don't think so. I didn't know.
I try to ask everybody, but sometimes I do forget.
I think I remember hearing Ziggy tell that story, that answer. I don't remember him getting asked that. What's the best compliment I ever got on my naked body? Probably nice body, or nice body would be nice. I don't remember the nicest thing anyone ever said.
I know.
I don't mean it never happened. I know.
No, I get that.
Yeah, I don't remember the nicest thing. That's funny. I know.
So what are you doing as far as comedy these days?
I do a lot of Zoom mics, not a lot. Like my friend Bruce does much more than me. But I do some shows. I do some podcasts. I do some. I'm in a senior class with seniors, people 80 and 90, but I'm allowed to be in there. I'm 71. And the leader of the class, let me just tell you, it's from a senior center. You know how like in Seattle, they'd have a senior center where they could have lunch and then take a painting class. That's how it started. But then the COVID came and it was on Zoom, and a friend of mine really physically used to go there in Manhattan. So she invited me and I brought Ziggy and all my friends there. But anyway, the leader of the class happens to be a writer for Fallon, you know, Jimmy Fallon, or she's a contributing writer. She's not a full-time, and she's done voiceovers and TED Talks, and she's so patient. She's like 30 something, but she's so patient with the seniors, and they come out with it. Oh, and it's not stand-up, Cheri. It's she throws out a question, and there's a room full of seniors, and they just raise their hand and answer the question. So it goes very fast and it's fun.
Right.
That's all it is. It's not stand-up, but we are doing a stand-up class tomorrow. Coincidentally enough, tomorrow night, she hooked us up with a real room that does comedy in Brooklyn, New York, but we're going to do it on Zoom. And the seniors were asked to write a letter to a body part, and she let me do 3 commercials, 30 seconds each between the show. So it's going to be a real comedy show. Everyone's going to do a few minutes, and I'm going to do 3 funny commercials. Like one is about, you know how Gwyneth Paltrow has that candle for a vagina? Yeah, so mine's going to be a Hanukkah menorah with 8 candles, and each one has like a flavor of a girl's name, like cherry and honey, things like that. And then another one is called, instead of Botox, it's called buttocks for your badass, something like that. I have to study. So they're just commercials for body part products, because the assignment for the show is a letter to your body part. So that's what the seniors are going to come up with. They're going to do comedy. They never do stand-up. It's an improv class. So I just wanted to tell you about that. And it's going to be on tomorrow night at Littlefields in a real club, but on Zoom. And then what else I do is just a lot of mics and shows. You know what I like to do now, which is I'm proud of? 20-minute mic, 20 whole minutes. That's a big deal for me. That was a big milestone. I did it like 2 weeks ago. Do you do that much on stage? 20 minutes?
I do 45. I can do 45.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Oh,
I mean,
you're
I
a
have
headlining
not done
gal.
that I haven't done that in what, coming up on a year, but I can. And I have
Wow.
several times. So yeah.
You're a headliner.
Well, a bar headliner, not a club headliner. Yeah, but
Oh my God. That's awesome. I love Seattle. It's beautiful.
yeah. Yeah. It is. We're having a good day to do it today. It's not raining. So
That's funny.
that's unusual. Okay.
Wow.
If people want to find you, where can they find you?
I'm on Facebook mostly, Helaine Witt or Helaine Witt. I have two because I was thrown off once and I'm not sure why, but I have a feeling I know why.
All right. Okay.
Could I ask you a question or is my time up? I want to
No.
ask you a question.
Okay.
When you do 45 minutes, do you worry or did you used to worry? Am I going to keep their interest or are they going to like me for 45 minutes? Or are you so good that you never had that problem?
Well, I was more worried about forgetting something, like not being able to fill up the 45 minutes. But I kind of break it up, like I do a song, you know, that kind of helps, like just a little change of pace. The nice thing about doing 45 minutes is that you can slow down a little bit and just talk to people. And so, no, it's fun. If you can do 45 minutes, it's I think that's the least of your worries, is keeping people's interest. So yeah. Once you get to that point, people will love it. Yeah.
That's fabulous. Good for you. I'm proud of you for doing 45 minutes.
Well, and 20 is like the first big, like you can, you work up from 5 to 10, and then there's that leap when you go to 20, and it's a big leap.
I was very proud of it. I did about 2 weeks ago. So now I'm looking for, when you said, what are you doing with your time? Instead of just filling it up with 5-minute mics, not that there's anything wrong with that. I'm looking for hearing about big mics, long mics.
Right. Well, good. Well, congratulations to you, because that's a milestone, and yeah, keep working on that.
Thank you. Thank you. Thanks for letting me on your show and showing you my cat and inviting me. And
yeah, it was fun. Very fun. So what I do is I edit this and then I put it on YouTube and other places.
That's so sweet.
I'm going to tag the heck out of you all week long. So
that's so sweet. Thank you. I tagged you today to say I was on.
All right. Well, thank you so much. It was good seeing you.
And you too. Thank you. I'll see you
around.
Yeah. Bye. Okay. Thank you.
Bye.
What's on her mind? She's a big, big girl in a skinny woman's world. Now she's a big, big girl in a skinny woman's world. Now she's a big, big girl, big, big girl.